Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for inviting me over from the UK to join you in Hong Kong this afternoon. I'm delighted to represent the Chartered Institution of Water and Environmental Management, and I've been even more delighted to meet you all, and particularly our members of SIWEM that are based out in Hong Kong. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn to the questions. I think we've got Kate there online as well. Yes, and one of your colleagues, Kate, Jin Won as well. Okay, welcome both of you. Can you just say something so we can check we can hear you?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Yes. Okay, Jin Won.
It's good to see you all.
Excellent. And good to see you both as well this afternoon. Okay, and a reminder, if you want to submit a question, the QR code is up in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so looking at the questions that have come in so far, and also reflecting on some of the challenges we have in terms of treating for water quality in the UK as well, let's turn to the subject of PFAS and forever chemicals. So, Kate, one of my questions was to get one of you to introduce what PFAS was, but you did a brilliant job of that in your presentation, so thank you very much. So I'll come to you last, Kate, having listened to the other speakers and your colleague for any further views. But can I turn to you first and ask for your views on PFAS and how that affects the work that you do?
I think the PFAS actually should be controlled as a source. And I think that the prevention, the pollution is important. For some of the industrial wastewater discharge, we pay a lot of attention to their effluent. But I think the control in their industry and also systematic control measures is be important, not from the point of view of last minutes, but pay attention to the forefront. So we should separate and control and any possible discharges of the PFAS in the industry and in our daily life. For example, in industry we can destroy or separate the possible potential PFAS derivatives from the forefront. And we also could calculate using the AI approaches, and we can calculate the potential discharges, and then we can control, and we try to prevent the discharges of the pollutants. It's my opinion.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jin. Can we go to you, David, for your opinion, please?
PFAS is really interesting. There's a large amount of emotion associated with PFAS and PFAS control. As soon as you label something a forever chemical, you've got a public relations issue to deal with. I agree entirely that prevention is the way to go. It's the basis of water safety plans, and it works equally well for PFAS. One of the good pieces of news, by the way, about PFAS is where people have done studies of PFAS concentrations in blood, the concentrations are dropping. So we are being effective in prevention. In Australia, for example, we have greatly reduced the use of PFAS firefighting foams. In some states, it's banned completely, so prevention's working. In terms of public health, it's a really difficult area. Which of the PFAS do you focus on? There are hundreds of chemicals. We don't have a lot of data for them. So what approach do you take? Do you regulate all of them individually? Do you regulate them as a group? How do you set regulations? So these are the types of questions that we're grappling with at the moment. We will come up with inevitably conservative guidelines because drinking water guidelines tend to be conservative. So there's a lot of discussion, debate to be had. But I think in terms of PFAS, we need to remember the context. So Kate pointed out, cholera kills people, typhoid kills people, Burkholderia kills people, cryptosporidiosis makes people very ill, Legionella kills people. So pathogens should never be far away from our focus. Yes, we need to pay attention to PFAS. Let's focus on prevention. There's a lot we can do in that space.
Yeah, thank you very much both for your perspectives. Can I come to you, Kate, and your colleague Jim Won for any further views?
Yeah, no, well, I think I would just reinforce some of those points around, perception. Clearly, this has caught the public attention. While we're also fighting to get public attention for lots of other things that are quite neglected. So we do need to keep up some perspective. I would totally agree with the point about prevention. First, you saw in my presentation, some of the challenges of just getting basic water treatment into many parts of the world. So the levels of treatment that would be needed to remove PFAS is frankly out of reach for many, many locations in high, medium and low income countries, of course. And then just backing up sort of this point about the challenges of both setting health-based values for PFASs and then also having effective regulation for it, knowing that with so many chemicals, regulating any one of them can just lead to a shift in industry, focusing on production of another. So we really need to be working on prevention and with the industry on this issue, and also putting it in the context of all of the broader public health challenges we face around drinking water safety. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Won, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I also totally agree with all other comments from the speakers today. And in addition, maybe we need to monitor and also evaluate the data to find out the solutions together. So I think maybe in globally and also regionally, we need to all together make some kind of common understanding of this issue as well. So maybe this center and also maybe WHQ and also maybe the experts can together can consider about this issue, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. We also have some questions on microplastics. Again, another topical issue. So some of your views may be similar and follow on from your views on PFAS, I guess, but have you got anything further to add on your views on microplastics and how they affect the work that you do?
Yeah, because the human being get used to using plastics and materials, I think there are some possibilities that some of the bromide and chloride and also iodide containing polymers actually has a potential for release of PFAS and similar resistant. It's chemicals. So those chemicals actually we should pay attention to the use and the control and the management and the conversion in various of the stages, like installations and probably when we use either mechanical processes and also boiling or the different types of treatment. So there are some possibilities that they will release the PFAS. And so in my opinion, that we could reuse them or control their further applications, and we can have some alternative materials. And also, when we discharge the waste, we should be careful. We should evaluate the potential release of those organics to be during the process of the treatment. So that will give an overall concept that we can control in a systematic way. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
David.
So WHO published a review on microplastics. Perhaps to go back a step, plastic pollution is a bad thing, and we should do everything we can to reduce plastic pollution and hence the production of microplastics and nanoplastics. If not for human health, then certainly for environmental health. The WHO review showed that at this time there's no convincing evidence that microplastics have an impact on human health. And there's an important lesson here that microplastics do have environmental impacts. They do harm the ecology. But we shouldn't automatically conflate what happens in the environment to humans. Again, that can be part of our emotional debate. We need to assess the risks based on public health evidence. So yes, microplastic pollution is a bad thing, and we should do everything to reduce it. But the biggest impact's on the environment. It's not, the public health evidence on impacts on humans is not compelling at this stage.
Okay, thank you very much. And over to you, Kate and Jim Won.
Yeah, no, just sort of add to that. I think that study was kind of helpful to, hold down some of the fears in terms of public health safety of microplastics in drinking water. And I think one really clear takeaway from this is we shouldn't be becoming fearful of well-managed tap water systems and instead moving to bottled water, which in fact has more plastic associated with it, right? So I think it's useful to remind people that trusted tap water supplies are safe. And sort of linked to this, though, there's a couple of really big movements around plastic with the big Ocean Summit and the Plastics Treaty, and I think we can, rather than looking at this specifically as a drinking water issue, sort of frame it within that larger movement of reducing plastic pollution in general.
Thank you. And Jim Won.
Okay, in addition to the other speakers, so the one of big challenge is we need to build a kind of global commitment for the plastics. So we tried last year in Busan, but there are some issues to build this kind of commitment. So I think we need to engage national decision makers and also the responsible for the policy development or target settings and also the implementation coordinations. And I think so we have a common understanding, but it's a bit hard to have a common goal together because the microplastic can go all over the world in a way. So we need to get together with experts today and have some more effort to have a global commitment, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really interesting and different but complementary views. Now, in terms of your presentations, they were all complementary and coming from different perspectives. And what I'm interested in hearing about is thinking about your area of work and put yourself 5 to 10 years into the future. What is the biggest change you would like to see? What's your vision for the area of work that you do and the change that is needed to enable that?
I think for water, it's a large system. I think we should really evaluate our original ways, technologies, and the mode of prevention of the pollutions. We should have, from a system point of view, to control the pollution. And we can also pay attention to the use of materials and also the process, like we treat the waste. And we both emphasize on the nutrients, that we have a balance of the nutrients, because this is a one world. If it's imbalance of the nutrients, we have our water problem solved, but we may cause another problem, that the nutrients are inefficiency. And then we have a general approach, but at the same time, we need to pay attention to the reduction of green gas house. And we also pay attention to the low cost and their low energy consumptions, and using AI system and method that we can have a optimized solution of the whole system. So what I'm working, I think that in the future, we could using interdisciplinary collaborations, and we can have a cost-effective solution, and also their materials could be used in an efficient way, and decentralized approaches for water recycle, for nutrients reclamation, for optimizing the material use. So that is my thinking. Yeah.
Thank you. So really interesting. So collaboration, using technology, and effectively what we call circular economy in the UK, recycling materials.
Yes.
Okay, we've got about 2 minutes left between you, David, and the speakers at the WHO. So if you could carry on in terms of the biggest, your vision for 5 to 10 years' time and the biggest change you'd need to see for that to happen.
2 things. One is along the theme that Kate was talking about, which is increased access to safe drinking water and sanitation. We need to see that curve go up. In terms of what I presented, increase and continued mindful application of a preventive approach to water safety, to drinking water safety, to recycle water safety, mindful application on a risk-based approach. So focus on the things, the key parameters that we know cause damage. Just because you can monitor for 100 chemicals or 1,000 chemicals or 10,000 chemicals doesn't mean you should.
Okay, thank you very much. Definitely the risk-based approach is coming across really strongly there, as it did when you answered the questions on PFAS and microplastics as well. And over to you, Kate and Jinwon, for your thoughts.
Sure, I'll try and be quick, but I have 3 things. Like, firstly, was on sanitation. I think we have to undo this kind of unhelpful thing we've had of thinking about sanitation as a personal responsibility and a private good. It's a public good, and we need to move, especially for rural sanitation, but we need to move towards understanding that we need like a proper governance structure that recognises that, and that we have utilities take up the mandate for sewered and non-sewered services and have really high quality regulation that drives investment in that. That's the only way we're going to make this progress, rather than pushing it back onto households. Second, this is really preoccupying me a bit at the moment, is the push for circular economy. Absolutely, we should be doing that. But if we don't do that safely, then we're just kind of, it's just sort of displaced pollution or displaced open defecation. So we really have to be making sure we're building in the safety elements to the push for circular economy. And then thirdly would just be around, the prevention of these, particularly around cholera. It's just really tragic to see very limited amounts of funds for that being used in an ambulance at the bottom of the cliff mode. We have to get in front of that and provide sustainable, safe services into those hotspots where we know cholera recurs, and it's always where the water and sanitation is poor. We know how to do it. We just have to get in front of that disaster. I'll stop there.
Right, thank you, Kate. And Jinwon, over to you for the final thoughts.
In addition to Kate, no one left behind. One of the big challenges in this region, so there is some facilities do not have the proper water service. So the WHO was the possible reason we aim 80% of the healthcare facility have the base service by 2029. So WHO is the positive center for environmental health. We also do more effort for the vulnerable area and vulnerable people, but maybe the HQ and maybe with experts in this place, maybe have some more effort together to help and support the people who are do not have a proper service for the water. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we're out of time, but can we have a round of applause, please, for our speakers? Thank you.